Welcome back to our Palmon Survival Guide series. In Episode 3, we learned how to build a self-sustaining camp through base automation. In Episode 4, we're shifting focus to combat. The early game can feel overwhelming. Dozens of Palmons to choose from, bosses with huge health pools, and events that punish bad composition. This episode will show you how to build an effective early game team that excels in PvE encounters, including the world boss and other events. We'll explain core team roles, explore elemental synergy, recommend some accessible Palmons, and share strategies to keep you competitive without spending. Why team composition matters. In Palmon Survival, your roster's strength isn't just about individual power. Victory depends on how well your Palmons synergize as a team. A balanced squad needs 3 pillars: sustained damage, utility, and survivability. Your main damage dealer should be backed up by a frontliner who can absorb hits and a unit that can heal or control enemies. Neglecting any pillar leaves you vulnerable. Even the strongest DPS falls quickly without a tank, and the best tank can't win if no one deals damage. Team synergy becomes especially important in boss battles or competitive modes, where a single weakness can break your lineup. Core mechanics, elements and ability timing. Each Palmon has an elemental type: fire, water, earth, and more, and matching elements against enemies dramatically improves your chances of winning. But diversity within your own team is just as important. Elemental variety lets you adapt when enemies change types mid-fight or when boss mechanics punish single-element teams. Your Palmons also build energy during combat, and timing abilities is crucial. Smart players rotate ultimates based on energy buildup and cooldowns, so the right skill is ready at the right moment. This becomes vital in longer encounters such as world bosses, where you need to stagger stuns, heals, and burst windows. Team archetypes: Burst, Sustain, and Hybrid. While the meta shifts with updates, there are 3 archetypes that consistently perform well: aggressive burst teams, defensive sustain teams, and hybrid teams. Burst teams prioritize heavy front-end damage to overwhelm enemies before they can react. Sustain teams rely on healing and tanking to win the long game. Hybrid comps mix both, trading raw power for flexibility. As you progress, feel free to swap out members. Palmon Survival encourages experimentation, and new characters or gear upgrades may unlock completely new synergies. Recommended Palmons for early PvE teams: Tank, Statchew. Statchew is one of the most reliable early game tanks. His promising passive grants plus 20% total attack, defense, and HP at level 1, making him surprisingly durable even without star upgrades. As a frontline tank/disruptor, Statchew's protective roar terrifies enemy front row Palmons, reducing their damage output for several seconds. His sentinel skill reduces the damage taken by your own front row, creating a protective aura. These abilities make Statchew perfect for soaking up aggro while weakening opponents, giving your damage dealers room to operate. Deploy him in the front row, especially in sustained combat against bosses or waves of enemies. Support tank Dolphriend. Dolphriend serves as a support tank/utility hybrid. His title guard skill boosts his max HP by 30% and scales further as you invest stars. Rush Wave smashes into a target, dealing heavy damage and offering a 70% chance to stun the enemy for 3 seconds. Combined with his promising passive plus 20% total stats, these abilities let Dolphriend absorb hits while disrupting enemy momentum. Guides recommend using him as a durable frontline support who enhances team survival through buffs and crowd control. He shines in PvE boss battles and long survival stages, making him an excellent second frontliner or backup tank. Damage dealer: Fire, Earth, Palmons. For damage, choose a Palmon with high single target and AoE potential. Early accessible options include Blazeal, a fire Palmon, and other elemental attackers. Blazeal's skills unleash powerful bursts. His first skill deals significant single target damage, and his second releases a wave of fireballs that hits multiple enemies. Pairing a heavy hitter like Blazeal with Statchew's damage reduction and Dolphriend's stuns creates a balanced offense-defense core. If you cannot obtain Blazeal, look for similar attackers with strong base damage and straightforward skills. Prioritize leveling and evolving your DPS because they determine how quickly you can burn through boss health pools. Healer/utility, flexible slot. Your 4th slot can be filled by a dedicated healer or utility Palmon, depending on the encounter. Some players prefer healers who restore HP over time, while others opt for debuffers or energy generators. Because early game rosters are limited, don't hesitate to use lower rarity Palmons if they bring unique utility, such as shields, attack buffs, or enemy slows. Rotate this slot based on the event's mechanics. If the boss deals heavy AoE damage, a healer is invaluable. If it summons adds, a crowd control unit may be better. Building a balanced team, use these steps to assemble your early game squad. 1. Pick your tank, start with Statchew or another durable frontliner. You need someone who can survive multiple hits and apply damage reduction. 2. Add a second frontline. A support tank like Dolphriend pairs perfectly with your main tank. He provides extra HP and stuns to keep enemies in check. 3. Select your primary DPS. Choose a high damage Palmon such as Blaziel. Make sure it aligns with the elemental weaknesses of common bosses in your current stage. 4. Fill the flex slot. Depending on the challenge, pick a healer, debuffer, or another DPS. Don't be afraid to adjust this slot as you progress. 5. Diversify elements. Avoid stacking all fire or all water units. Elemental diversity lets you counter different enemy types and adapt to environmental modifiers. 6. Manage energy and ult timing. Coordinate your ultimates so your tank's buffs are active when your DPS unleashes their burst. Save crowd control skills for critical moments. Strategies for world bosses and events. World bosses and event stages test your coordination and endurance. Here are some tactics to maximize your score. Understand the boss pattern, learn the timing of enrage phases and high damage attacks. Use Statchew's protective roar to weaken these hits and Dolphriend's stuns to interrupt dangerous skills. Focus fire, assign your DPS to the boss while tanks pick up stray enemies. Multi-target skills like Blaziel's wave are great for clearing ads, but don't waste your burst on low priority targets. Use elemental counters. Bring at least one Palmon with the elemental advantage to exploit damage multipliers. Rotate ultimates. Maintain a cycle where your tank's defensive skills overlap with your DPS bursts. Don't fire all ultimates at once. Stagger them to keep uptime on buffs and crowd control. Adapt the flex slot. For bosses with summoning mechanics, insert a crowd control or AoE specialist. For bosses with constant damage, insert a healer. Don't neglect gear and base. Upgraded equipment and a high camp level raise your team's stats, so synchronize your combat progress with your base upgrades. Free-to-play advice. You don't need UR Palmons to succeed early. Focus on easily obtainable units with good traits and synergy. Statchew and Dolphriend are perfect examples. Their passives give huge stat boosts at level 1 and their skills remain useful throughout the game. Avoid spending premium currency on random gacha pulls. Instead, invest in evolving and leveling your core team. Regularly rotate your roster as you acquire new Palmons. Experimentation is key. Building a strong early game team in Palmon Survival is all about balance, synergy, and smart adaptation. Combine a durable tank like Statchew with a support tank such as Dolphriend, add a high damage dealer like Blaziel, and fill your flex slot based on the encounter. Pay attention to elemental advantages and ability timing, and you'll find that world bosses and event stages become much more manageable. In our next episode, we'll explore S-tier Palmons and upgrade prioritization, showing you when to invest resources and how to push your team into the late game. Stay tuned and let me know in the comments which Palmons are carrying your team.